The NFL's legal tampering period is officially going to start in just a few minutes, but that don't mean the NFL ain't get started already, because just last night, the Steelers, they traded a second-round pick for a wide receiver from the Seattle Seahawks, DK Metcalf. And this is a nice upgrade for that Pittsburgh Steelers offense, because you have an offense, you're adding DK Metcalf, who is a deep threat. While he is like a 6'4" wide receiver, he doesn't always play to his size, but George Pickens does, though. Now, I'm very curious on what they're going to do with George Pickens, because there have been a lot of talk this offseason about the Steelers potentially being ready to move on from George Pickens. So I wonder if they may have a trade in place with somebody else to move on from him. I guess time will tell. Now, obviously, if they kept George Pickens, that would be a much more dangerous offense, because you got a DK Metcalf or George Pickens. You got a Calvin Austin, who is a sleeper, because he's a solid receiver, speedy receiver, also a good returner as well. But then they just recently tendered Jalen Warren, the running back, and he's an underrated running back as well. They still got tight end Pat Fryermuth. So the Steelers, they got some weapons. They really do. Now, I think the biggest question moving forward with all of the Steelers' weapons that they have, who's going to be passing them the ball? Because obviously last year, it started off, all right, Justin Fields, you all got, he started off with a nice record. Then the Steelers were like, you know what? We're not going to wait till our record gets bad. We're not going to wait on it. We want Russell Wilson out there. So they put Russell Wilson out there, and he continued doing his thing. He continued keeping the Steelers afloat. But then, like the Steelers do a lot, they start off really, really hot. And then at the end of the season, they just go on this downward slope. It happens a lot recently. And that's the same thing that happened this season with Pittsburgh. But with Justin Fields, it's been said that the Steelers could be looking at both him or Russell Wilson to come back and be the starter. But if I'm Justin Fields, and it's been said that he's also going to be considering the New York Jets. And I'm thinking like, oh, yeah, you got to do that, because with how they did Justin Fields, he was a placeholder for Russell Wilson. And with Justin Fields, he's more potential-based right now. I don't feel like he's fully been unlocked yet. I don't think he's fully been unleashed yet. And with Russell Wilson, you know who he is. You know what you're getting out of Russell Wilson. You know what you're not getting out of Russell Wilson. He has already hit his peak. He's not a bad quarterback at all, but you know him. So those are two options for the Pittsburgh Steelers. It's also been talked about that maybe Aaron Rodgers, he could be an option for them. That would be very, very interesting. But it's also been said that Sam Darnold, he could also be an option. So we'll see shortly which direction the Steelers end up going in. But that's going to be interesting. Now, the Steelers did not only trade for DK Metcalf. Because when it was reported that the Seahawks were listening to trade offers for DK Metcalf, it came out that they not only wanted a first and a third round pick, even though we knew they were not getting no first round pick for DK Metcalf. DK Metcalf is nice, but we knew that nobody was going to give up a first round pick for DK Metcalf, like from jump. And we get it. That's the game. You got to play the game and whatnot. Put out reports that this is what you want, and hopefully that somebody will offer something close. We said it when the news first came out that they wanted that the highest that they will get will be a second round pick and some change. They ain't even get the change. They got the second round pick, though, so that's good. And it's a second round pick this year, so that's really good for them. But the Steelers not only acquired DK Metcalf, but it was said in the report that DK Metcalf also wanted $30 million per year. And I was thinking, oh my goodness, $30 million per year? Steelers looked at that and said, oh, that's it? Okay, no problem. There you go. And they gave it to him. $30 million. He signed a 5-year, $150 million contract extension. That is crazy. Good for him. And good for Pittsburgh being willing to step out like that. But they got him. And they paid up. They were not afraid to pay up. They were not afraid to cough up that cash. And DK Metcalf, he said that he wanted to go to a contender. He said he wanted to go to warm weather as well. And he said he wanted to get that $30 million per year. Now, he got probably about 1.5 out of the 3, because Pittsburgh is not a warm weather place. And he did get his money, so that's 1 out of 2. But then where that half comes in is the contender part. Steelers are a very interesting team because, as we've seen before, so many times they start off their seasons hot, very, very hot. But then toward the end of the season, they hit that downward slope. And that's exactly what happened last year. And who knows what their quarterback situation is going to be this year, because it's been seeming like that's been something that's been holding them back for a while now, is their quarterback situation. Because ever since Ben Roethlisberger retired, Steelers at quarterback has been all over the place. So they just have not had much consistency there. And then you got to put some eyes on Mike Tomlin too now. Because while there have been a lot of different quarterbacks, you got to look at the head coach. So he does bear a lot of responsibility. But he ain't going nowhere, at least not yet. But we will see who his quarterback ends up being for the 2025 season very, very soon.